live Monday night. Just gotta change this around. All right. This is the first time I do it from my phone, and I'm a Samsung Galaxy, whatever the newest one is. I'm an Android guy. And yeah, first time we do it from my phone. We usually do it from Mel's iPhone. So my apologies if I am not at the proper angle or height or whatever you want to call it, but such is life and it's all good. So today we're going to be talking about creative financing, seller financing, owner financing. Hey, Monique Villeneuve. Hey, how are you? And this is the thing. If someone knows how to do this on YouTube, hey, Koshik, there you go, Koshik. You were on our Instagram live, you were on our Facebook live, now you're on our YouTube live. I love it. Mir, good evening, friends. Monique, great. And you? I'm good, Monique. Thanks for asking. And I got to remember the lens is right there. So I got to look there. I'm looking here. But yeah, I got to remember to look there. I'm so used to a computer where like the what do you call it? The lens is in the middle, so I can look in the middle and be okay. So if I look like I'm looking away, guys, it's just because it's the phone. Mel's just coming in soon. She just, oh, yeah, you're gonna Colton some water? Okay, thanks. Good evening, friends. Great and you. Live YouTube, so cool. Thanks, Monique. Yeah, we started going live on YouTube more and more. Adele, where's your better half? What's that supposed to mean, Adele? No, she was just giving Colton a glass of water. The thing with YouTube, the comments come up very quickly and they disappear even quicker. But again, I'm not an expert.
Hello, everyone.
There we go.
Hello, hello.
Please see little right on your right hand and all is good. Please see a little right on your right hand and all is good.
Just a little right.
Is that
a
it?
lens?
Share.
Save. You know what? What if hey,
what if you go on there?
Great idea.
Okay.
As I'm opening my...
My
He likes to claim ideas as his own when it's mine.
It was my idea.
It was
pretty
not.
much. Frame is complete now. Well, that's the thing, right? Is sometimes people want to do podcasts and they ask for just Mel, not me. It's never happened the other way around yet.
And somebody gets highly jealous. Just saying.
Just saying, it's never happened where they just want Dave. But yeah, and it's like, well, it's the investor couple, right? Like I don't know, it's just different.
Or it's Investor Mel when it's just me.
Wow.
I'm good with that.
Wow. All right.
You know, I say
Fred,
that.
Hey, Fred.
I say that, but I am kidding. Is that Fred from the Action family again? Hello, Fred. That's
and Koshik
awesome.
is here. We tried going live on
The
it needs to be
computer.
the two of you.
There we go. Yes, it
Thanks.
is easier. When I tried doing podcasts, when I did podcasts twice. It was only twice that you weren't there.
Two more than me. Say it.
Yeah, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess.
Well, we're so
it
used
was
to
a little
saying...
different because you say your things, I say my things, and you finish my sentence, you cut me off when I'm trying to say something. So there was none of that. It was a quieter podcast.
Sounds terrible. If you guys hear, Jax is right beside us. And it's like when we go live, he knows, he just starts eating. Can you guys hear it?
Good,
Anyway.
there we go.
So that's Jax eating beside us.
And I have the questions here on the other side.
Needs to be the two of you, Fred. Hi, San, Monique.
Good.
Okay, good. So you got the questions there? That'll go so much easier. So I don't even worry. I'll let you read them and I won't worry about
There
it.
we go. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I have my laptop set up.
Yeah, so ask us questions. Let's talk about some creative financing, different things like that. That's kind of what we do.
Yeah, we
That's
just
our bread
finished,
and butter.
I'm full. We had a huge order of sushi. Dave
good.
ordered for 5, although there's only 2 of us eating it, or something like that. And yeah, we had a great meal with Heather and Dave. Dave, you're shaking the table a lot.
Yes.
Another Dave, who won the Rising Star. So we had a nice meal with them, and then we went live on Instagram. And then we thought, well, we can't forget about our YouTubers, so we thought we'd come live here and take some questions as well.
Mir, do you guys work in Canadian market? We are Canadian, and yes, we invest in North Bay, Ontario, Canada, which is where we live and where we're from. So that's where we primarily invest as of right meow.
Yes. yes. And good thing you said you'll let me read the questions, just pointing it out.
Well, I saw you go over there, and I saw the lag, and that's why I kept. See, look, you just told your joke again. Anyway, so I saw the question come up, and I knew that I would be quicker.
Oh, if you want to call it that. So, all right, owner financing, seller financing, VTVs, if that's something you want to talk tonight about, or if you want to talk about something else, 2021 is around the corner. Time to reflect on everything you've accomplished this year, or things that you want to get going in 2021. I know this year obviously has been a very bizarre year, to say the
Bizarro.
least. Bizarre. I don't, say
Bizarro? What do we used to call it?
Bizarro world.
Mel and I first met, and
But we
went,
went, yeah, that's
I
our own.
understand.
Yes.
We went on a trip to Dominican, and it was I forget. Anyway, it was an amazing place, and it was a resort. So the middle like the resort itself, and like the lobby and that, and then it had the same thing on both sides for restaurants anyway, or for the buffet. I mean, sorry. And in one of the buffets that we did all week, we only found this the last night, but all the buffets in the 1 week had pictures with people smiling on the walls and that type of thing. And then the other side was called Bavaro, and all the pictures had people sad and like with frowning faces. And it was the exact same setup, just mirrored.
Same exact setup.
So we call things when they're weird, it's Bavaro world.
Yes, a little.
But yeah, let's talk some real estate, guys. Enough about
How
Dominican.
do you avoid paying taxes
In Canadian markets? Well, there's a lot of different strategies. And Mir, question for you, and you don't have to answer me if you don't want to. Do you own real estate?
That's Sam's question. Sorry to say.
That's who? Jax, really? If you guys can hear
That's
him.
Sam's question.
Sam, that's
Oh,
Jax.
yeah, I can't.
Can't
Jack's our dog, our German
He's
Shepherd.
such a big.
He's coming
baby.
in right in between us.
Just loves to cuddle.
For hugs.
All right, yes, we talked about your earlier eating. Okay. So Sam, how do you save taxes? So Sam, question for you. Do you currently own real estate? Yes or no? And you don't have to answer any of this. And then the second question is, do you own it personally or do you own it in a corporation? Because I'm assuming you're Canadian, so you're asking about Canadian real estate. If you were in the States, I would ask LLCs.
Yes, yes. And that's the beauty of real estate. There's so many different tax strategies that you can get from real estate.
Yes, I do. So Sam owns real estate. It is a good idea to use depreciation. And what do you actually depreciate? Yes, we use depreciate. We depreciate our assets. We use depreciation. It's a whole strategy, and I'm not saying you should use it or shouldn't use it, but talk to your accountants and professionals about it. But it is definitely something that you can utilize in order to make your income go away from rentals. And if you personally own it as well, it can. And I'm trying to think back when we used to personally own, we would use depreciation, and we would show. It would take away that income, and I'm trying to think if it could also take away some of the income from our T4 income. Don't quote me on that because it's so long ago now, Sam. But yeah, you can definitely make the income from your rental properties that gets added on to your personal income tax, right? You can make that disappear with depreciation. But talk to the realtors, talk to the accountants, because it's a yin and yang, right? Yes, you're depreciating now, but then when you sell or down the road, there's going to be a recapture. So just make sure that you understand it fully. It's not I love depreciation, but it's not a magic end all be all that just makes income go away with nothing ever, recapturing it, because there is recapture.
Yes, and thank you so much for everyone joining our channel tonight, coming on live. If you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when we go live, because we go live. We've been going live more and more lately on YouTube. So we go live at least once a week, sometimes even more. Kind of like today, we just decided to pop on in. So hit that bell to get notified so you know when we're live as well. Lots of questions here. Okay, Mir Khan, $100,000, 10 doors with $1,000 per door, and $1,200 taxes in general per month. Does 25% qualify? Normally, without buyer personal credit get involved.
$100,000, 10 doors, and with $1,000 per door rent. So 10 doors, so that's $10,000 a month, and $1,200 in taxes general per month. Does 25 qualify, or normally without buyer personal credit get involved? I think I'm trying to understand your question, Amir. But honestly, whether you buy it personally or in a corporation, they're going to pull your credit check. And I'm not a mortgage broker or a mortgage specialist in any stretch of the imagination. But when we used to purchase personally and when we purchased in corporations, whether it's a mortgage broker or a bank, they're going to pull your credit, right? And think about it this way: the asset could be amazing. You could be purchasing an awesome asset that cash flows so high. They're lending at a
Yes.
lower loan to value rate where they're secure. But if you are in collections and you haven't paid the last five people and it's all been this year, right? I wouldn't want to lend to you. And would you want to lend to someone in that scenario? So they do look at your credit and it makes sense. So they will pull your credit check, in my experience anyway. But even if you don't have great credit and all that, it's still doable. It's just going to be a different ballgame.
Let's see other questions here.
I'll let you read them out.
Does 20 to 25% raised funds can qualify to buy in general without touching buyer credit, only in cash flow?
I think
So $10, $1 mil, 25% down in general would qualify with raised money.
if you're gonna use private money, sorry, Mira, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to answer your question as best as what I understand it. But you won't. If you're going to an A lender, if you're going one of the big five here in Canada, you're not going to get a mortgage if you're using private funds because they don't like private funds, right? Let's say if you're putting a second mortgage or seller financing for the 25% or 20% down payment, they don't like that, so you won't be able to do it anyway. Is that what you're asking, Mir? Sorry, I'm not sure. I just want to make sure I'm not giving you the wrong answer for your question. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Got it. Thanks. So there you go. I think you answered the question. So
Okay.
we're good. And that's the thing. There's so much to know with these creative financing strategies and how to start and can you qualify and how to do them. And actually, we had some questions earlier on Instagram that they were asking Heather or Dave because they were live with us on Instagram. And one of the questions, which I thought was a great question, is so they did 100% financing. They bought 4 properties in 5 months, solely owned, no partners, no joint venture partners, 4 properties, 5 months, all OPM. And somebody said, yes, but did you already have a large portfolio? Do you already have a portfolio before starting? And they said no. So even if you don't have any properties, you can still grow your portfolio using creative financing strategies when done correctly, right? When doing your due diligence, when making sure the ratios make sense. I saw a question here pop live earlier and about the ratios, and that's where it's important. You want financial institutions to say yes to you. You got to make sure that your ratios continue to make sense. Otherwise, you're going to hit that wall. They just won't approve you if the numbers don't make sense. So it's so important to try to do it from the beginning. And if not, then as soon as you realize that, wait a second, my ratios might be off, to get those back in tuned again.
And I see a question from Sheik. With the debt service ratio, 45%, I'll let you read it now. 45% good credit score, rate it there, yeah, Sheik.
With a debt service ratio of 45%, oh, it bumped.
Can we bring this closer?
Yeah.
Just so I can, yeah.
Good credit score, full-time job. How do I buy a rental property where rental income takes care of a mortgage?
So debt service ratio, again, don't take my advice with this. Debt service ratio, I'm not a mortgage specialist. I'm not a mortgage broker. But I think it's like 40, 42 is kind of like the maximum, let's say, of utilized debt ratio or your TDSR, your total debt service ratio. So Sheik, what I would say to you is buying a corporation, right? Like when Mel and I, we bought, I think, was it 5 or 7? And we were with Scotiabank, and our debt servicing ratios made no sense, and not even, well, because in there they were taking 50% of the income and 100% of the debt.
We were making, okay, then let's qualify.
Or cash flow,
yeah, we were making great money. We were both making great money from the properties. We both made great money at our jobs, but they weren't approving us because the way they calculated the ratios. and therefore it didn't make sense.
And it's because they were personally owned and it was affecting our total debt service ratio. So what I would tell you is buy them in a corporation because it's not going to go on your personal credit. And again, I'm not a specialist in mortgages and all that. So I know how to buy creative financing, but to how to total debt service ratios and that, that's banker stuff. That's right.
And this is where it's important to make sure that you are dealing with an investor-focused accountant, an investor-focused insurance company, investor-focused lawyer, right? So when you're dealing with whether it's your business structure or anything else, having your full team involved is so crucial.
Yep, I agree. So yeah, I would buy in a corporation chic. And that's only one of the reasons to buy in a corporation. There's many reasons. And if you're in the US, there's many reasons why, benefits why you should buy in an LLC. Now, again, that's not legal advice. That's not accounting advice. Talk to the pros, but definitely entities, structures, corporations have helped us maximize our growth.
Yes, Koshik, Mel and Dave, thank you for all of the knowledge. You're so welcome. What are some of risks to watch out for creative financing? Should we save up from funds? Okay, so let's start off with your first question here. What are some risks to watch out for creative financing? Creative financing, it can be really exciting because you all of a sudden, especially if you've never done it before, you find a 100% finance deal and you get really excited because now you're thinking, wow, I've done it. I can own properties, none of my own money. The owner is willing to hold financing, or I found someone with RSPs or 401k, or I'm using a promissory note. Whatever way you're doing it, it's exciting. But does the deal make sense? And you might say, yes, it makes sense. You know, I know my numbers. I know how to do ratios.
I want to grab those chopsticks and play with them while you're.
I know how to do my ratios. Everything makes sense and everything else, and that's great. But now the most important question is, when it comes to creative financing, is do you have your exit strategy? And so many people don't know how to.
Sorry, I'm playing with chopsticks.
So many people don't know how to do that. And so that's the difference, right? They don't know how to make sure that they have their exit strategy, and then they get stuck because now they own this property. They don't know how to pay back Mrs. RSP or owner finance, and they get stuck, and then they have to sell the property, and it kind of defeats the purpose of wanting to hold it in the first place. So honestly, my top advice is make sure your ratios make sense. Yes, it's exciting to have owner financing and everything else and under your own money, and that's how we buy every single one of our. We own over 200 apartments now. That's what we do. We always use OPM. It's a very powerful strategy, but you have to make sure to do that. And also, and I'm not letting you talk here, and also you got to make sure you have a little bit of backup money as well. So yes, you want to do this. You want to buy the property, but but you want to make sure you have backup money as well, because at times things are going to happen. You might have to call a plumber in, or unforeseen repairs, or a tenant doesn't pay rent, or anything can kind of happen. And it's really important to make sure that you do have that little bit of extra cash for a rainy day, like anything else that you do, right? You're dealing with the big bucks. You want to make sure you have a bit of liquid funds for that. Go.
I was just going to say, with great power comes great responsibility. And I forget what movie that is, but it's so true with creative financing. It is a great power because you're using other people's money. You're able to scale a lot quicker, and you don't need to use your money, which allows you to really, like I guess I already said it, buy more real estate. However, that's on the way in. That's the fun and exciting part and all that. So with great power comes great responsibility. You've now taken someone else's money. You've now used someone else's equity for seller financing, owner financing. You have a responsibility to pay them back, right? That's what you said you were going to do. So that, to add on to what Mel was saying, and Mel made some great points, is just don't do that unless you know how you're going to pay them back. And that's how people go bankrupt. That's how people get in trouble. And I don't ever want you to do that. And one thing, because we're on YouTube, I'm so not used to do that. I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe if you like the channel, if you like what we're talking about. Mel and I are massive in creative financing. We're massive in other people's money, solely owning multifamily dwellings, buy and hold. People sell once in a while, flip once in a while, but our forte, or our bread and butter, our lane is multifamily.
Buy and hold. And Yeah, we love it because, of course, it kind of comes back to our whys, right? Why do we want to do this? For us, it was for our kids, and I hear, I often speak with whether it's people inside our mentoring program or strangers, and who are doing this as well, or some of my other colleagues in in real estate investing world, and they have, it can be anything. Some people they don't have kids, and their whys are different. Maybe they just want to quit their job and travel, or they just want to create their own future, or they just want to create time and all that as well.
Someone was asking, it was an answer to one of them. They said, I saw it. They said they had 3 properties that are personally owned, and they're wondering if they should put them in a corporation. We've been there, done that, and that's again, talk to the accountants and the lawyers, because Mel and I met Mel. She had 2, I had 1, so we had 3. And then in the next 3 years, when we were using our own money, we bought 1 a year. So that came up to 6 in total, right? Another 3 plus 3, 6. And we talked to the accountants and the lawyers and said, you probably don't have to incorporate. You're probably going to save more money. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. So we thought we were structured properly and we personally owned everything. Then come 2017, we bought 12 properties in 12 months. And come tax time, the accountant said, why are you not incorporated? You own 18 properties personally. And we're like, you told us not to. And they said, yeah, that's when you own 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, but now you own 18. So it's really case by case. It's really talking to the pros. So
It
that
depends on your goals and all of that as well.
long-term goal.
And then there's so many different types of business structures as well.
Well, and that person said they had 3. Is that what you're maxed out at? Are you buying another 3 this year? Are you buying another 20? Like, it just depends on exactly your goals, your ambitions. Are you giving it to your kids? Are you selling them in a year from now? So there's just so many different scenarios, but there is power in structures, LLCs, corporations, entities. Very powerful stuff. I think that's the one you read.
Yes.
Peter.
How do we find property through creative financing 100%? So if you're referring to creative 100%, so you can do 100% through the owner. So owner financing, seller financing, vendor take back, where the owner actually holds 100% of the mortgage, and we've done that a few times. So yes, it is doable. We call that or some people call it the unicorn.
People think it's a unicorn, that it doesn't exist, right?
Yes, but we've done it. Some of our action takers have done it, so it doesn't happen all the time, but they do it because it benefits them. Some people don't want to have all that money all of a sudden. They have a $500,000 property. Well, guess what's going to happen? They sell it that year. If it's paid out outright, they're going to pay a lot in taxes. And you, as an investor, you can actually help them out by helping them defer their taxes over the length of time that the loan is for, right? So if it's a 4 or 5 year term type of thing. So it ends up benefiting them. So you can do that. That's one way of doing a 100% finance deal. Another way is to do owner financing. They can be in first or they can be in second, and second is very, very popular because then you can just go to a financial institution and then they can finance that 20 or 25% down. So that was our most popular one when we started.
Absolutely.
We did a lot of that. This past year we haven't done as many.
Seconds?
Not as many.
The one we did it, the $2.2 million one.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 14-plex we did. The other 2 no.
So
the other one no. The other one no. Yeah. So 3 for 6, 50%. Let's see.
Okay, so more than
3 for 7.
I was thinking 40, 60, but okay, we've done some. I guess we haven't done as many compared
to the 12 and 12. Yeah, that was 10, at least 10 of them, at least 9 or 10 of them. I saw Hassan. Is it a good time to buy now? Hassan, Mel and I during COVID have purchased, in 2020 in total we've purchased 119 new units. They're not new, but additional units. And 100 of those were in 2 months. The other over 100 were in 2 months, and a 15-plex we closed December 1st. So yes, and something that we learned back in 2008, some of our mentors that were investing in real estate back then said that was a good opportunity for them to really capitalize. So that's what we're trying to do. Real estate wise, obviously it's a sad time, right? Pandemic and crisis and all that, but real estate wise, these types of scenarios don't come up too often. So yes, we're continuing to buy. So good question, Hassan. Leonard, I saw your question pop up earlier. Sorry, Molly, I've got to jump in on it because as soon as I see corporations or things like that, I've got to pipe in. How soon can I buy income property after I create a corporation? And then Leonard had as well. Apparently, banks won't approve the mortgage for the corp if it's too new, no history. So Leonard, respectfully, I'm just going to say 100%, and I know you're not saying that. That's what you're, what you've been told. 100% disagree. Sometimes we'll create a corporation just before closing a deal because we need it to be in a new corporation. So we'll literally say to the lawyers, "Hey, the deal is closing on let's say December 1st. I need you to create one before then." And let's say they create it November 25th. As long as it's incorporated and created before then. Now the thing is yes, the corporation might be new and the banks don't have history with it, and it's not like you're a Pepsi or Coca-Cola or where the corporation makes so much money as a standalone entity. They're going to make you personally guarantee the debt anyway, Leonard. So the corporation could be a month old, a day old, a year old. The institutions are going to put their claws into you, right? They're going to want you to personally guarantee the debt. So that's where I'm going to say doesn't matter how soon, or sorry, how early, how new the corporation is, because you, Leonard, will personally say, "I, Leonard, guarantee this debt, and I'm on the hook for it as well." Oh, am I shaking the table too much?
Yes.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Good. I think we're pretty much caught up here. Sometimes
Well, because she had another one. Sorry, I kind of jumped over because Leonard had one.
How much backup money would you suggest we save before we get in? And it's a difficult question to answer, right? Are you buying a duplex or are you buying a 24-plex? So it's going to vary based on that. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to think about that as well. And I think these are the things you need to look for. You need to have lawyer fees, deposit. And again, I know that there's ways we've done it where we didn't have to pay lawyer fees, or we didn't have to pay a deposit, or they were the $1 deal one year. We did a whole lot of those. And then just backup money. And again, are you buying a new property, a new build? Is it a really old building with old wire, with old electrical, where you're going to have to put extra money? So it's hard to say the exact amount. I mean, you should have at least $10,000 or so to get started. Of course, the more the better. And something liquid, right? So a line of credit or savings or checking and that kind of thing.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I cut you off.
No, that's okay.
No, the four things we usually say: cash, credit card, line of credit, savings. Like that's liquid, right?
Yeah.
If you're coming to us to RSP, that's not liquid. That's months. Not months, but like days, weeks.
And it's good to know. Okay, this is my backup. Okay, I have that if need be, but you're going to be pulling. If you pull in, there's penalty, all that kind of stuff, right? So, so something that you can access pretty liquid.
Leonard, understood. Thank you. Awesome. Kevin, what's one of the best ways to raise capital? And Kevin, and I know you're asking strictly raising capital, so I'll touch on that after. But the first thing that, and Mel kind of touched on it earlier, was sometimes you don't even need to raise capital, and that's owner financing, seller financing. Like that's something that where you don't need to stress about how do I raise $100K for a down payment? How do I get X amount of dollars? So I know that's not exactly what you asked, Kevin, but I just want you to open your mind to that, is not even having to raise the capital. So, oh, Dave, I put an accepted offer and I need $100,000 as my down payment on this building for X amount of dollars. Okay, so you could either look at it that way, Kevin, as, hey, I need to raise this money, or B, another way is I'm going to ask the seller to hold a second mortgage because they have equity in the deal. I'm going to ask the owner to hold and it's all the same thing: seller financing, owner financing, vendor take back. So that's a way of raising capital in a different way of looking at it. So when I read your question, immediately I'm thinking, yeah, no, you're not raising dollars, but you're basically raising a down payment through the seller, right?
Yeah, and it's a great way for sellers as well. Some people have this property, and maybe, especially we're big on finding off market deals as well, but maybe they have this property and all of a sudden they are thinking of selling it, and boom, they're going to have to pay large amounts to an agent, and that's holding them back from listing it.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're not selling, or they're thinking about their capital gains, as I kind of mentioned earlier. All of a sudden they don't want to sell it because they know they want to sell it, but they know this is going to be really expensive. It's going to be an expensive tax year. But with seller financing or vendor take back, it benefits them because they can help with that. So it's a great strategy. for them, and they also know that, hey, if you don't pay me back, at least it's a property that I know, type of thing. So they're likely to do it. However, same rule as always, exit before you enter. You got to make sure you know how you're going to pay those lenders back, because that's so important.
Oh, and Kevin asked VTB, vendor take back.
Yes,
vendor take back. It basically just means seller financing, owner financing, and VTB, vendor take back. All the same thing. It's basically where the seller sells you the property and helps with financing. They hold a mortgage.
Mel Mitchell, using an exit strategy of wholesaling is another good way to accumulate capital. So there you go. We've done a couple, and wholesaling, and again, I know some people do it all the time. That's awesome. We've done a few wholesale. We actually only wholesale to people inside our Action Family Mentoring Program. So we kind of leave those deals for them. A couple of deals we couldn't close on. But yeah, it could be a strategy. You use that money and you put it towards a property as well. How do you find owner financing, seller financing deals? Honestly, I look everywhere. We look everywhere. We deal with an investor-focused agent. We tell everybody, even here tonight, who knows? There could be somebody from our city having a property that happens to be on our live session that's going to say, oh, they're willing to do this, and then they'll end up reaching out, right? So we're on social media. We tell our friends, we tell our family, we used to tell our co-workers when we had them. So it's just telling people that this strategy exists, and it's not for everyone. And if you are afraid of getting no's, then you should not be a real estate investor using this strategy, because you will get some no's. Not everybody wants to do owner financing. Some people absolutely want their money. Some people are going to say, I don't want to do this. I want to take my money and go retire somewhere. And that's completely fine as well. But you want to make sure that, that it's a win-win.
Yeah. I'm thinking using Kashik, does the depreciation offset the tax you pay on rental income? In depreciation, Kashik, in a nutshell, it basically it reduces, by using depreciation on a rental property, it reduces the income. So it just adds another kind of expense. It's not an expense, but it adds, let's look at it this way. It's not necessarily an expense, but you could look at it as being an expense because it reduces the actual income. So let's say you make X amount of dollars in income, but then at the end of the year, you look at how much you paid on your mortgage, you paid on utilities, you paid on maintenance and all that stuff. Well, you're kind of adding, here's a depreciation, and and again, I'm not an accountant, but it just kind of reduces that income even more, so that way when the income is looked at and being taxed on, you've now reduced the actual income. So that's how it saves you on taxes in a nutshell. So hopefully that makes sense, Goshik.
Mel, do you guys invest virtually? If so, what's your advice in doing so? So we have our entire property management company here that we opened up after buying a lot of properties. So it makes sense for us, and the ratios make sense here as well. So we've been purchasing specifically locally here. We have tons and tons of our mentees, of our Action Family members who absolutely do go cross-provincial. And you can check out my one post we just did with, it's on my Instagram afterwards. It's with Heather and Dave, and she's the Rising Star of the Year in our mentoring program. She purchased 4 properties in 5 months, didn't have any properties before she started, used other people's money, no partners, no joint venture partners, so doing the same thing. And I think 3 of them were from a different area, a different province from where she lived. So she did a lot of virtual, and no, she was not able to look at the properties. And, we had quite a few questions that came around that as to what happens with that? What do you do with that? How do you find these deals outside? And again, it's number one is your network, right? Your network is your network. She met these people inside our mentoring program. Property management, same thing. She met these people inside the program, and then she was able to connect with the right construction crew for maintenance and renovations and all that kind of stuff. So absolutely, Mel, it's doable. You can absolutely, we look at even ourselves, although we're investing where we live currently. That being said, we've been in Florida where, we're looking at deals elsewhere and buying properties in different areas. So So absolutely. So we've done a lot of that where we're not walking in the property, we're looking at numbers. Look at numbers first. Don't waste your time. I see so many people wasting their own time, and then they say real estate is so much work. Well, yeah, but you're wasting your Saturday, every Saturday, looking at places. I could have calculated that in 15 minutes and freed up the rest of my day if the numbers didn't make sense. So utilize your time wisely. Make sure you're using a good analysis. We use our cash flow matrix that we've been using for years, which is easy, and we can quickly analyze the numbers.
Yep, agreed. What?
Hey, Mel and Dave, what is your favorite type of real estate to own? Hey, Evan. So our favorite is hands down multifamily properties, and we often get the question afterwards that says, okay, is it residential or is it commercial? And it's all of the above. So we have had a lot of growth with buying duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes. At the beginning, that's all we used to buy. We're smaller units. But afterwards, we purchased a whole lot more. Just continue to buy and scale very with smaller units at first, and then we got into the bigger deals. Right, then we started buying the 17-plex and the 50-plex and 21-plex. That kind of came with time for us. I know some people say only go big at the beginning. Let's say go with whatever makes sense, whatever cash flows, especially if you're looking to leave your full-time job and you want to replace that at income, because they're going to take those numbers into consideration.
It's actually going to help you, right?
Yeah.
Kevin, I'm capped at 5 doors. Are JVs, that's joint ventures, are joint ventures my only option to get more mortgages? Kevin, you are asking the right people this question.
Yes, because we don't have one single joint venture partner.
No. And there's nothing wrong with joint ventures,
Absolutely
Kevin.
not.
And that's why
we have a lot of friends actually that's their strategy, and that's awesome.
And full disclaimer, joint ventures, hey, if you want to do them, my only pet peeve is when people, because I used to think the same thing, when people think, oh, that's the only way to scale, okay? I have no problem with JVs. I like that people do them. If they work for you, that's awesome, good for you. But do not think, Kevin, and I know I'm kind of picking on you because you asked the question, but don't think
he's like, I'm not going to ask any more questions now.
But I just don't want you to think that's the only way to scale, because it's 100% false and not true. You can scale solely yourself. Like, for example, Mel and I, we've been there where we hit a wall, right? And we thought, because I looked into it too. I'm like, well, I guess we're going to have to do that.
People told us the same thing.
You're never going to scale unless you have partners.
You have to have partners. You have to have partners, or you have to have joint venture partners. So either way. And that's just something we personally did not want for ourselves. And like, there has to be a way. We can't be the only people in the world wanting to buy properties using, the strategies we're using and not having to have partners. And yes, Dave said it well. Absolutely, it can be done. Don't listen to anybody that says it can't. It's just because they haven't done it, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. And if you need some motivation, go on my Instagram page. I feature somebody every single week. Men, and some of them are doing with partners or joint ventures, but the majority of them are solely owning, and you'll see and you'll be able to read and view lots of the properties they've been buying.
And the one thing too, Kevin, is it's creative financing. That is the solution to your issue. If you can't get more mortgages, it's because, and I'm not saying you are or not, you might be going to the big financial institutions, and they just don't, they're not in it to do, they do rentals, but that's not their, their focus and that type of thing. They'd rather give a new doctor a loan to open up a practice, or a new lawyer to give a loan to open up a firm, right? That's kind of their bread and butter. But income properties, unless it's a big building, right? Like for insurance companies or big corporations and that type of thing. So, Kevin, understanding creative financing, understanding other people's money is your ticket to, if you're hitting a roadblock with 5 doors, your ticket is creative financing, right? And not always going just to the big banks. It's finding who will say yes. And not all institutions, and I know we say this all the time, but it's so true. Not all institutions, and I want to think of something for joint venture, I just don't want to forget. Not all institutions are going to say yes. A lot of them are going to say no, because it's not what they do. They don't deal with creative financing. And something that was said to us before, and it was actually a guy, he's a friend of ours, like Mel said, who does joint ventures, And because he talked to us before we did a podcast with him, and he kind of had said, and it was so true, he said, honestly, joint venture is the most expensive money you'll ever use. Mel and I kind of said,
Yes,
well,
and I mean, and he's doing well. He's done a lot, and
he quit his job with joint
yes,
venture, so
so-
he's a joint venture guy, right?
and
He's
we
doing
said,
well.
and we're like, okay, I've never heard of this.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. Tell me a little bit more. Why are you saying that? And I loved what he said. I said, well, typically, and again, this is going to vary, but he said, you're giving away half. That's 50%. And again, I know it's sometimes 40, sometimes it's 60,
yeah.
whatever. It varies. I'm just using general numbers. And he said, that's a lot of money that I'm giving up all the time. He said, it enabled me to grow, but he said, I also have conflicts sometimes and different, people wanting, we got along great at first and all of a sudden life happens and one person wants to go this way and one person wants to go that way and having to deal with that. So at least, know what you're in for if you're going to do it that way. You absolutely can. You absolutely can be successful at it. We're not against it.
Yeah,
it
don't
just
take that way at all.
It's just not what we wanted for ourselves. And again, it was really important for us to go, here, kiddos, here's our portfolio, without them having partners involved with it, right? And with creative financing, we were able to do that. So
yeah. So, and the one thing he did say, and again, just to kind of elaborate on what they were saying, was joint venture is expensive money, and he said equity. Equity is something that's so expensive because that's what you end up giving up in a joint venture. And he was saying, I envy the way that you can borrow money, because think about this. We use a lot of other people's money. So it's not our money. And people will ask me all the time, and I haven't seen it in the chat come up, but I might as well get ahead of it. People ask all the time, well, Dave, aren't you kind of doing a joint venture by borrowing other people's money? And no, they're a lender, they're an investor. A joint venture is someone who is going to be on title with you. It's someone who's going to have ownership, whether it's the asset, whether it's in the corporation. That's a joint venture. That's a partner. What we do is
And I'm glad you're clarifying that, because I remember thinking, I mean, and when and for those who have been doing it for a while, this naturally because you've been doing it. But I remember not getting it. Like I remember thinking, but how? Like it doesn't make sense to me, right? Why would somebody want to do that in the first place? Or how come somebody would lend me money and not take part of the cash flow and the appreciation? Like it sounds amazing, and it is, but in terms they get other kinds of benefits.
Exactly. So just keep that in mind. I forget who asked the question. Kevin, yes. So Kevin, 100%, you can scale, okay? You do not need to partner up with anyone. You do not need to joint venture, give away equity in your deal, give away equity in your corporations. Unless you want to, then hey, have fun. But you can scale with creative financing, and you can show sellers how to help you with financing and other investors. So good question. I'm glad you asked that.
And think about that. As soon as we did that, that was in 2018. So we bought 12 in 12 months, still working full time. 3 kids at home. And yeah, that year we didn't watch any TV except for cartoons with the kids. But you can scale because it's a win-win and it's doable, and then you get to all the benefits. And then when you start as well, it's almost that ball's rolling, right? So
momentum.
It's momentum. It gets easier. Then you have equity and you can refinance from this property, and then you pay back the lender, and they say, hey, you just paid me back. Instead of giving you $50,000, I'm going to lend you $150,000 because now I know, like, and trust you, and I feel comfortable. And they're going to tell their friends, and again, the ball just keeps rolling, right? So it does get easier as you continue to scale as well.
100%. Brian, URL for mentorship program and etc. I don't know if you can put that in there, Mel.
What's that, sorry?
URL for the mentorship program and etc.
Oh, yes. Let me see.
And then Leonard.
So this is how to book a call. I am ready to invest.com. Thanks for saying that.
Cool.
So
thanks, Leonard.
Yeah, so you can book a call here with one of our mentorship specialists.
And I'll read Leonard's question.
There you go.
Sorry. Leonard was saying, how do you investigate deals? Oh, sorry, I can't see it. How do you investigate deals in other markets? I'm from Toronto and looking in North Bay. Do your due diligence, Leonard. Talk to the professionals in those areas. Get familiar with the market and what it's doing. And again, it's just going to depend on what you're in Toronto. You're in a very hot market, right? So Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, all those things, and I'm missing a lot. And then Miami, we have mentees in Miami, Boston, Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago. Here's the thing. Real estate works everywhere. You just need to have a good play, and you just need to understand the play. Now, if you're saying you're in Toronto, what would be your play? Your play is going to be market appreciation if you're investing in Toronto. If you're looking at investing where we are in North Bay, Ontario, which is about 3.5 hours north of you, what's a good deal? Well, that's going to depend on, are you looking to, if you're looking for a deal to appreciate so much year over year, North Bay is not the place for you. Secondary markets are not the place for you. You're going to have to force that appreciation with renovations and repositioning. So, Leonard, before you even kind of ask that, and I know I'm just saying you have to get in the mindset of knowing kind of what you're looking for and what your goal is before you even think about different marketplaces. And are you looking for condos? If you're looking to make money with condos, here's not the place. If you're looking to make money with condos, Toronto, Vancouver, those bigger cities, those bigger hot markets, yeah, you can do that. You can do those close to an Amazon fulfillment center. You can do that all day long, right? So, and I know that's not kind of what you asked, Leonard, but I just want you to have that mindset before you even think further along down the road.
And to kind of add on that, well, not really. What is it? I'm trying to think of the saying, and I can't think of it. A selfish plug, or what is it called? You don't know.
Here comes a selfish plug or selfless plug?
Yeah, something like that. I was just going to say, and if you're looking for a property management company in North Bay, well, guess what? We own one. So it's Dupree Properties.
Dupree
Oh,
Properties.
there you go. Dave came
I'm trying to get the selfless plug a little bit more so.
There you go. I was very blunt. But here's a tip for you.
Oops.
You may, and wherever you invest. So, okay, so you're not, people are not, hey, I don't want to invest in North Bay. I'm like, shameless plug. Thank you.
Sometimes they come up there and sometimes
I was just going to say, did somebody just text you that? Because it kind of popped out, or did it come down there?
Yeah.
I thought maybe you got one of your buddies or something. Shameless plug, thank you. Yes, what I was going to say is that, because I was on in a meeting earlier with our director, and he was saying that somebody ended up contacting him and saying, I'm with this company, I'm not happy with this company, can you take over? He's like, of course, we can. But they were very worried because they signed a long-term contract. And I, as an investor, would always say, I would never, ever, ever sign a long-term contract with a property management company, because then you're stuck. What if you're not happy with them? What if they're putting in bad tenants in there? Then you're stuck. No way. We have a large property management company. We manage all of our 200 apartments. We manage about 60 or 70 other apartments as well. And we are in the mindset that stay with us because you love us, not because you have to. And it goes both ways, because we've certainly decided to let go sometimes of some clients. Maybe they weren't doing their own due diligence, and then it's our name attached to it. It looks bad on us because then it's our name going, they're not doing their due diligence. Or because, and as an investor, you just don't want to be connected. So anyhow, but and we're kind of big on that as well, just generally speaking, with any kind of contract. We like to, I want to stay because I like you. Do your job, and I'll stay as long as, don't give me a reason to want to leave, right?
Agreed. Evan, nice to hear. Thanks for sharing. Looking forward to sign up to your mentorship in the near future.
Hey, awesome.
It's going to change your life.
It's going to change your life. There's so many action takers.
Kevin, with creative financing, can I get a lender rates or around 5 to 15%? It's going to depend, Kevin. And Kevin, I'm going to throw this, and I'm just saying you again because you asked the question. So Kevin, don't even look at the rates. Okay, obviously look at the rates. I know I'm not making sense, but don't just look at the rates. And this is something we teach people in our action family and our action program is purchase price, just one piece of the pie. Interest rates, just one piece of the pie, right? All these things come together and the deal has to make sense. And I say it all the time. I'll give you $1 million, Kevin, if you can make me $3 million, or if you can give me back $3 million, right? So what am I trying to say there is, the interest rate is only a piece of it. And if the deal makes sense and someone's willing to lend you money on the deal, and you're going to buy a property with none of your own money, you're going to cash flow, you're going to refinance it, pay everyone out, and still be left with the asset, with the monthly cash flow, with the equity in the deal, and maybe some refinance money over and above. Who cares what they're charging you for interest, right?
So the deal makes sense.
That's the bigger picture. That's the concept that And I know, Kevin, that's not what you were asking, but to not even answer your
But
question.
sometimes we do a detour. You
No.
never know which way we're going to
But
go.
it's because it's bigger picture, and that's what I want you to think, Kevin. I want you to think of those four things. Own the equity, own the asset, no money down, equity in the deal, cash flow, and I forget the fourth one. But that's what I was trying to say with that. Hopefully, it makes sense.
Yes, and I see lots of people on tonight. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much for being here and asking us all these great questions. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified so you know next time we're live, and make sure to share as well. If you know somebody who could benefit from our channel, we'd love for you to let other people know we're growing our channel. We want to help as many people as we can. So thank you for helping us do that.
Art. Hi guys, still grinding on a Saturday night. You guys truly love this stuff.
On a Saturday?
Wait, it's Monday.
Oh man, yes, and Art is an action taker. Absolutely.
Here, Giorgio. Hi, Mel and Dave. Nice to see you. Hey, Giorgio. Giorgio's been coming on the lives lately.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good stuff. Learning, right, and taking advantage of that. And I don't know where everybody is located. Our world is kind of getting shut down as of the 26th here. We're getting back into the gray zone, unfortunately. But once again, we're not going to let us stop us. We're determined. We're going to have some great time with the kids and all that great stuff. We're also not going to stop business, right? We're going to continue to implement.
When you
strategy.
said gray zone, it made me think of "Welcome to the Gray Zone," the Danger Zone song by Top Gun. Anyway, sorry, that's what was playing in my head when you said it.
Everybody's going unsubscribe, unsubscribe.
Georgie, no, wait, read that. Mel Mitchell, I love the energy. I want to make some money with you guys.
Hey,
nice.
Awesome! There we go. Join our program. It's the result. Honestly, the results are awesome.
Change your life.
Yes. Or if somebody's looking to invest, then this is how you do it, guys. If somebody's looking to invest passively, send us a message. We're all over social media. We'll gladly put your money to work, and most importantly, we'll show you before we enter the deal our exit strategy.
How we're gonna pay you back. Kevin, creative financing OPM. Thanks for the wisdom. Yes, Kevin was the person that was asking, saying that he would need to do joint ventures or partnerships. So I'm glad again, Kevin. And if you want to go that route, do it. But I just want you to know that there is another way, because I'm almost looking, Kevin, the way I'm talking.
And here, I'm going to put, just for you, Kevin, I'm going to put in another link here.
And the way I'm answering you, Kevin, is the way I wish someone would have answered me when I was looking at it initially, and I thought that was the only way. So if I'm being a little bit kind of, not aggressive, but not over the top, maybe, but a little persistent with it, is because I just don't want you to go down a journey that you don't need to, or that you didn't want to initially, but then you just took other people's advice.
But you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly. That yes. I still remember the first time I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. You don't know what you don't know, and it's like, oh my gosh, what do I not know, right? Like you start. And
it's true, you don't know what you don't know. And the link here is www. You got to put in the W's, 3secretstrategies.com. It's a free masterclass where we go into more detail about how we purchase all these units with these strategies. So we kind of slow it down, one whiteboard, we draw it out for you. So you check that out, and then
completely free, creative financing stuff,
completely
guys.
Free. So make sure to check it out. I know I'm a very
do yourself a favor, check it out.
I'm a very visual person, so having somebody do things on a whiteboard certainly has helped me. So we're passing it forward.
Does anyone else have the song in their head now? Welcome to the Great Zone. Koshik. Hi, Mel and Dave. When it's over 6+ multi, are there mostly owners sold? Sorry, I mean
these mostly owners sold or realtors sold. Honestly, it depends. We just bought all the above. We just purchased a 50-plex, and that was a private off-market deal. So it depends. We purchased some that are listed, some that are off.
You see the sellers are more open for vendor financing considering tax advantages. You see these sellers are more open. Honestly, vendor take back, seller financing, owner financing, you're going to get a mixed bag. Whether it's on the market, off the market, it's going to depend mostly on the seller, Koshik. I've got a seller that I'm managing his building. He's known my family since I was born, and I had the conversation with him about owner financing, seller financing, and he said no. and he's not even selling his building yet, but he just straight up said no, Dave. So it's going to depend more on the actual seller and their circumstances, their needs, wants, and requirements. So it's not, and I think that's what you're asking, but it's not necessarily if it's off market or if it's on the system. Now that being said, I'm thinking of our friends in hot markets who are saying, well, Dave, an income property gets listed and the same day it gets 40 offers, no conditions, over asking price. Yeah, there's probably not going to be any owner financing there. But that being said as well, Koshik, is you probably don't want to buy that deal that has 40 offers over asking price. You can't even do any conditions or due diligence. I wouldn't want to buy that building. So hopefully I've answered your question there.
Awesome. Princess Jane. Hi, guys. Hi. How do you help us analyze and guide us with the deal so we can understand the whiteboard and the matrix you guys talk about? Yes, absolutely. And honestly, book a call with us at www.iamreadytoinvest.com, www.iamreadytoinvest.com. We'll be able to go through all of that with you. But essentially, yes, absolutely. We give you our cash flow matrix. So you get what we've been using to buy all these properties.
Takes the guesswork out.
It takes the guesswork out. Like even on Sunday, we decided to do a bonus session for the Action family. We do this every single week to start off with for over an hour. So we go live with them, we answer questions every week.
To stop you there, Mel, sorry. I was going to stop you. Think of that. Every single week. That's over 52 hours a year.
Yeah.
Like think of that with a mentor, 52 hours a year.
Yes.
Over that.
Yeah. So yes, absolutely. You can post the deal inside the program and we'll review it live with you. So that way, that's the thing. You're no longer alone. You don't have to make that one mistake. One mistake in real estate can cost tens of thousands of dollars. And that's what people often, they don't
Can I cut you off again?
Go ahead. Right in the middle of my sentence, but go ahead, Dave.
I'm just thinking about it because we're on YouTube. Go watch one of our YouTube videos. It's about how we made, was it 400? Was it 360 or 483?
Dollar mistake, yes.
Seriously, that's what I'm saying. So we made hundreds of thousands of dollars of mistakes because we didn't know what we didn't know. Sorry, Mel.
Yes, no, I'm
right
good.
Back at it.
No, but essentially, yeah, you're not going to be alone. You'll know right away. It has a 4-way pillar on one side, so you know if the deal makes sense. On this side, just keep it very short and quick. And on the other side, it shows you before. You know how we keep saying you got to know your exit strategy? It shows you the exit strategy. It shows you if you have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, don't buy the property. So before you enter the deal, it's very clear. Again, this is about setting you up for long-term success and long-term wealth. Good. How long time in average is it correct to hold down the property and wait until to go to refinance? Honestly, great question. Franklin, and every deal is different. Some properties takes a long time, and some properties don't take very long. We've had some flips that you can go very quickly. It's vacant. You do it's maybe a get job, for example. I can get them out quickly. Some of them take a little bit longer. Again, I would say always leave yourself extra time, and you'll know that as well by putting it in. And I'm not sure, Franklin, if you're part of the Action family or not, but if you put in Matrix, you'll be able to tell.
And even for example, not even our example, earlier we interviewed Heather and Dave, who are part of the Action family. So think of this. Think of how quickly this is. They purchased a property in the month of August of 2020, and they're already looking at refinancing it because the value, in their opinion, has gone up. So however many months that is that have gone by. So that's how quickly, Franklin, it can be. If you reposition and renovate the asset, and then if you see that it's worth more, you could do it sooner than later. And that was a 100% finance deal. So again, think of the power of this. They're going to, and I don't want to divulge the numbers because they kind of told us in confidence, but I'll just tell you the scenario. They bought the building, none of their own money, in August. Now we're December, so let's say they refinance in January or February. So that's 5-6 months. They pay back all the private money, all the private investors, all the lenders, and they're going to be left over with some money over and above. So like I was saying, the 4 things. Now they're going to own the asset with none of their own money into it. They're going to cash flow. They're going to have equity in the deal. And now it's infinite return on investment. And that's, again, think of how powerful that is. So I know in your scenario, you're asking how quickly you can refinance. Like Mel said, it depends on the deal, but not even just us. Heather and Dave, they just bought in August and they're already going to refinance it.
Yeah, no, super
Powerful stuff, man.
super powerful when you buy the right ones, right? And again, you should know all this before you buy the property, so you don't end up getting stuck. So let's see if there's any other questions. Wow, we've been live for an hour,
Holy
Dave.
smokes, that flew by.
Flew by.
Great questions, though, guys. You guys had some really good questions, and I really appreciate all the questions you asked.
Yes.
Now, question for you: have you subscribed yet?
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Subscribe.
Thank you so
Hit
much.
the bell. So we have a video every Thursday that comes
Thursday.
out. Every week we have a new video.
And then every Wednesday we go live as well. And we sometimes kind of decide to go live like we did tonight as well. So
12 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesdays we go live. So that's in what? That's 2 days from now.
Exactly. So you'll be able to, we usually have a topic, so the setup's a little bit different. Usually we have a specific topic. We talk for 15, 20 minutes or so, but then we always leave a little bit of time for Q&A as well. So that's essentially how that works. So so thank you so much, Franklin. Great, guys. Thanks for the answer. You're very welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. I think I'm ready for it's sauna time for me.
Sauna time.
Yes, sauna time. So I'm gonna wrap up this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And yes, again, go check out more of our videos. There's lots of live sessions we've done. So you can learn from other people's questions in our other live sessions and lots of videos as well. So thanks so much, everyone. Have an amazing night.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye.